The question that I'm sure so many teachers and school staff are always asking themselves, the money that comes into education, where does all that money go? The NAS UWT Teachers Union have recently published this report that talks through where some of the money goes. And it is both a fascinating yet quite worrying report. Now, to put this into context, it has recently been announced that teachers' pay will rise by 4%. However, even though the DfE have put an extra 615 million in extra funding, it is still going to leave schools having to find savings of more than 350 million to cover that pay rise. And in a recent interview with Schools Week, the Education Secretary did say there's enormous variation across schools in how effectively money is being used. Some brilliant, some less so. It's only right we're honest about that picture. The DfE will support schools in getting far greater value from their budgets, whether that's saving on energy bills, better banking returns, right? But if you just look at this report from the union that I'm going to summarise for you, sort that 350 million out straight away. Firstly, looking at the salaries of some of the Academy Trust CEOs, one earning over $500,000, there are 30 earning more than what the Prime Minister earns. Obviously, massive discussion to have about these sort of numbers, but what I will say is all I keep getting messaged about and hearing about are these academy trusts who seem to be laying off so many LSAs, support staff to save money, which I don't think you can justify when CEOs are earning this amount. That surely should be addressed before we are losing adults in classrooms, because who gets a worse deal? The children in these trusts. Next thing around consultancy spending. Academy Trust spent 412 million on consultants, nearly double the amount 5 years ago. Now for me, I spend part of my week in school teaching. The other part I do go visiting schools doing training CPD sessions for teachers. I always like to think that those training sessions are useful, informative, really help move a school forward, and in lots of ways can save schools a lot of money. I was in a school recently. I went and did some training 3-4 years ago, went back to do some AI training. They say within a year of implementing ideas off the training, they'd saved a few £1,000s as far as photocopying costs. Consultants I have a massive issue with are the snake oil salesmen who are coming in doing school improvement or mocksteads, these sort of things that don't actually improve anything in a school, and they charge vast amounts of money to basically put staff under even more stress. It also talks about the money being spent on independent special schools. These private schools charging up to £61,000 per pupil compared to £23,000 in state-funded schools, with some of these companies making tens of millions in profit, actually profiting off the SEND crisis in school, money that could be going to help and support these students. Then there is the growing cost of supply teachers. So from the DfE commissioned research, the daily cost of supply teachers was 218 in primary schools, 291 secondary schools, 270 for special schools. However, the average pay reported to the supply teacher was anywhere from 136 in primary, 115 in secondary, 144 for special schools. A total of 3.2 million teaching days were missed because of sickness in 2022, up by 56% from 2 million pre-COVID, and more teachers are quitting the profession, leaving schools struggling to staff those classrooms. These teacher supply agencies are making millions of pounds, while supply teachers are stuck on stagnating pay rates and treated like second-class citizens. The average markup is 38%. So to summarise that, schools spent 974 million on supply teachers, with agencies taking 300 million in fees. They also talk about the revenues of exam boards, reported revenues of over £1 billion. I did make a video yesterday about the amount of money that goes into providing testing at primary, and whether again that is the best use of money. So I will put a link to this document in the description of this video for you to have a thorough read, because it is so eye-opening and it opens up so many discussions about whether the money being spent here is the best use of it. Because for me, there's so much being spent elsewhere that could be channeled back into classrooms, into making sure we've got enough bodies at the chalk face, support staff, LSAs, those people doing the actual job that makes the biggest difference.